Miami has the best team in the ACC this year. From a talent standpoint, only Clemson comes close to rivaling the talent that Miami has going into the 2025 college football season. You are stacked on the offensive line. You got good receivers, great running backs, and you replace Cam Ward with Carson Beck at quarterback. You're not really downgrading too much. We know that Cam Ward was a transcendent quarterback talent, and Carson Beck isn't as talented as what he was, but I don't think the gap is too far off between the two. I think Cam Ward is here and Carson Beck is here. At one point around this time last offseason, Carson Beck was considered to be a first-round pick. And last year, I don't feel like he was fully responsible for how inconsistent Georgia's offense was in most cases. It's like he was throwing to defensive backs at wide receiver. When you have a wide receiving core that leads the nation and drops, you got defensive backs catching the ball. You're not going to have a lot of success playing quarterback when receivers just have butterfingers. My high school coach used to always say, if you can't catch, you need to be playing on the other side of the ball. With the receiving core that Miami has, Carson Beck should put up prolific numbers that we saw him put up his first year starting in Georgia. And most Georgia fans agree that Carson Beck is a pretty solid quarterback. If you give him a good situation, which is what he's walking into, you also have one of the better play callers in Shannon Dawson as your offensive coordinator. And Miami is finally going to have a damn defense this year. They didn't play defense last year. Defense was non-existent. It was just, can we outscore everybody? Can we put 40, 50 on everybody that we can play? And eventually that approach got Miami bitten in the ass, and they lose to Syracuse, and they don't make it to the ACC championship. They miss out on the playoffs. Everything that Miami has coming into this season gives this team the best shot that they've ever had since they first joined this conference to win the ACC title. For as long as Miami has been in the ACC, it's really shocking that they haven't won at least one ACC championship. And what we've seen out of previous Miami coaches like Mark Richt and Al Golden is that anytime they have like a big year, when they win like 9-10 games, they end up peaking and they end up regressing the following year. When Mark Richt had that massive 10-win season and Miami lost in the Orange Bowl to Wisconsin, you saw this program completely fall off a cliff the year after. Mario Cristobal is trying to avoid that. And you Miami fans already know how I feel about Mario Cristobal. Mario Cristobal is still one of the biggest frauds in college football until he's able to lead Miami football to an ACC championship and a spot in the college football playoffs. When the playoffs expanded from 4 to 12 teams, it should have all but guaranteed that Miami was going to have a shot at competing for a national championship every single year. With how big the NIL collective is, Backman, Ruiz is dropping money like it's nothing on these transfer portal guys, these high school recruits. Miami, from a recruiting and talent standpoint, is better than any other team in this conference, even better than Clemson. Clemson wishes they had the bags that Miami had to drop on these guys out of the portal. And for Mario Cristobal, if you can't deliver this season, you're never going to be able to deliver. And that's just being honest. We've seen guys like Curt Cignetti in his first year at Indiana, a program that you never think of when it comes to football, lead that team to the college football playoffs in his first season. You've seen Rhett Lashlee 2 straight years win a conference championship in the American, then lead SMU in the ACC to the title game and the spot in the CFP. If you have coaches that are doing more than less than what Mario Cristobal has at Miami, how long do we have to continue to wait for him to produce? Every single year, you can make the argument that Miami can win the ACC, but this year is truly different because they have pretty much no holes at any position. They're stacked everywhere. You have a new defensive coordinator in Corey Heatherman, who you bring over from Minnesota. You added 4 of the top 20 highest rated cornerbacks from the portal. There's no excuses for Miami not to be in the college football playoffs this year. There's no more excuses for why Miami shouldn't be playing in an ACC title game. And if Mario Cristobal can't deliver and get this program to that next level, he isn't the right guy to lead Miami football. And I know you guys are going to continue to get upset with that, but this is his 4th year as the head coach now. 10-2 was massive improvements, but Cam Ward masked a lot of issues with this team last year. Not just the defense being bad, but the coaching being subpar. Now this year, with Cam Ward being gone, Carson Beck is good, but he's not a good enough quarterback to just will you to a win like how Cam Ward was able to when Miami got down against Virginia Tech and they had to come back from behind several possessions on the road against Cal. Carson Beck is one of those quarterbacks that if you give him a good team, he's going to produce. However, if you put too much on him, he can end up costing you games, which is what Georgia did last year because they couldn't run the football. Carson Beck has it all. Mario Cristobal has it all. It's time for Miami to start producing. And if Mario Cristobal leads Miami to the ACC championship and they're in the college football playoffs, I'll stop hating on him. I'll give him his roses and the respect that he deserves. I'm not one of those people that just come on here and continue to run with the same narratives just because I'm chasing clicks and I'm trying to be rage baity, clickbaity. Like, Mario Cristobal can beat the fraud allegations if Miami wins the ACC this year, which there's no reason why they shouldn't. They are more talented than any other team that they play on their schedule this year. They had the most talented roster in this conference this year. The only thing that can hold Miami back from making it to the playoffs is Mario Cristobal's awful clock management and his subpar coaching. He has the label of being a great recruiter, a great team builder, but being a mid-game day coach. But he can change those narratives. He can change the conversation about him if he delivers what could be and what should be the best season that we've seen out of this program in damn near 2 decades.